there, welcome. Here I talk about all things recovery and self-care and just where I'm at, and to help share some of the tools that I'm learning and the tools that I've acquired from counseling, recovery programs, and just from experience in it. So I hope by just sharing my story that you feel less alone and less shameful and guilty about stuff that you don't need to feel shame or guilt about. Today I wanted to share one of the hardest things I've been going through in the last, I added it up the other day, last 3 years. It's been longer than I thought, and definitely the last year has been the hardest, but it has been a journey that's just been building. So let me grab my journal. You may have noticed the title of this episode is, "What should I do if my husband isn't ready to have kids?" So this is what we need to dive into. What do you do if your husband isn't ready? So with my husband, it's very clear he wants kids, but the struggle is that he was really excited that I wanted to wait longer. So he'd always thought he would just have kids pretty soon into marriage, a few years, and I thought, how about 10 years? So obviously I don't want to wait 10 years, and even what I thought I wanted to wait, which was about 5 years, definitely is too long for me now. But that might just be how it goes. So anyway, it has been a very long journey when I realized that I was ready to have kids, because he had adjusted to this idea that we are just going to enjoy marriage and enjoy being young and take in this time together and just adventure and figure out what careers we like and who we are as people. And it's been awesome. I 100% would say do that with your spouse. Get to know yourself and get to know them for as long as you can. It is awesome. It is such a cool journey. We've done lots of marriage counseling and meeting new couples that we admire and trying to just bounce off of them ideas of how we can grow. And we've gone through a bunch of different careers now, and I imagine that, what we're even doing right now might not be the last thing. Won't be the last thing for sure, actually, because we just do whatever comes up and what works for us, and right now we are totally enjoying what we're doing. It's been awesome. Okay, back on topic. What should you do? I don't know what anyone should do. I don't even like shoulding on people. I feel like it adds pressure and shame, and is really hard to be like, you're doing the thing you should be doing, but yet you're not getting this thing. So I do not have great advice for you, especially because who knows who you are. I'm so glad you're here, and let's talk about what I've done and what my journey's been like, and I hope it helps. Alright, so this journey started about 3 years ago, I think, when I was working with a counselor, and I cannot see anything. Let's try that without my car running. The lighting is tricky. I want the sunlight on me, but now it's a mess. I am popping on. I was working on the video and found out that I had a tech issue, which made it so that I don't have any of the visual and all you get is the audio. Fun. So I've seen that happen for different people. Sometimes they re-record. I just decided to go with it and keep it how it was and how I originally created it and the emotion that originally came up. So you'll have to listen for it, and hopefully you'll just feel me. Enjoy this video, and I'm sorry that that happened, but I am going to create things that feel good for me, and I didn't want to add more stress to that and try to redo it. So that is that. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your support. I'm just gonna play a few clips over it so you have something to watch, but you don't get to see the original me doing it, but you get to see more of my life. So I hope you enjoy that. This journey started about 3 years ago, I think, when I was working with a counselor, and I came to her with a few moments that I had experienced recently. So a couple of people around me were starting to get pregnant. They were my age. They were about the length that I've been married, or maybe a little longer. And for some reason, when they would either announce on social media or announce to me that they were either pregnant or starting to try to get pregnant, I would shut down. But then I would go back to my home, back to my room, and cry. A lot of emotion came up, and I have really shut down emotions, and only in the last few years have I been paying attention to them and allowing them to come up and almost going, all right, that's just a feeling. I don't have to even take away anything from it. But for a while it was letting the emotion come up and analyzing it. And I'm kind of trying to back away from that now and get a good balance of just letting myself feel. So anyway, emotions are important, but don't overanalyze them. That's where I'm at. Anyway, then my husband was noticing it. He's like, this has been a pattern. And he would often be the one that I'd be crying on his shoulder and trying to put to words what was even happening. Like, I'm so excited this person's pregnant. I'm so excited that they told me, and so excited that I get to watch them become a mom, become parents. Absolutely loving the idea of having different babies around. I love babies. So this should be so exciting, right? Why am I reacting this way? And maybe you've had this similar thing happen where you just react crazy and you're like, what the heck? What was that little outburst? So for me, when I brought that to my counselor, she actually said, she actually gave me permission that, it's okay if you want kids right now. And I was shocked. What? I didn't realize that was the thing underneath, but when she said it, it rang a little too true. Sometimes when a counselor says something, it's so clear, okay, that's not it. No, we need to dig deeper, go in a different direction. But when she said that, I was shocked the rules that I had set on myself. Really crazy, weird rules that I couldn't have kids yet. I needed to, follow the path exactly and do it the certain way and get the house before I have kids and get all these things figured out, which were awesome. And I'm still so glad that I'm at this place now where a lot of those things have been figured out. I'm not in a house, but I've had time to process that. So, where are we now? One of the things that was really helpful and I had to be reminded of over and over again, I don't know why it wouldn't click. It was like my brain was telling me that my husband didn't want kids. If he wasn't willing to have them right now when I wanted them, when I was having baby fever like crazy, I just felt like he didn't want kids at all. And just hearing him say, and hearing a counselor say, you realize he does want kids. Babe, I do want kids. Honey, I really want kids with you, and I'm so excited for parenthood. Just not yet. Anytime. That's so hard. It's a big fat no. It can feel like rejection. It is hard. And I don't know why I expected him to just be ready when I was ready. I think I just thought I'm the one who's holding us back and deciding that I want to wait the longest, and he'll just be ready when I'm ready. I think that was the expectation. Anyway, he didn't even know when he would be ready. He just knew he wasn't ready, and that was hard. So I did a lot of nagging, and he totally owned that in his codependency. He came close to just saying yes sometimes to avoid the conflict, but luckily we're at a point where we know that resentment is going to build if we say yes to something, especially something that big. He would be way more resentful later on, and we just don't do that. We are very vigilant, is that the word? We are just on it about the resentment. We heard from a couple early on in our marriage that even before we got married, that resentment is a big deal, and here's your red flag. So I'll have to talk about that at some point, just noticing your own resentment that's starting to build, so that way you don't take it out later on the person, or that way you don't end up in a place that you don't want to be in. So anyway, I'm just so glad that he took that seriously, because I think that would just be so sad that this beautiful thing has all that resentment, and it just doesn't have to have it. So way to go, my husband. Even though in some ways, usually at least once a month, some months it was like the whole month, I would just be angry at him, even though it wasn't maybe a right anger, but that's the feeling that was there. I thought that I could wait a long time, and it turns out I have a huge desire to grow our family, and that was whether we were ready or not. So I just wanted it, and I get this way. I get obsessed where I just want the thing I want, and like won't even think about what money is in the account or what needs to get done in order for that to happen. Like, I will do everything that I think I can, and then, you know, present, I'm prepared, I've done this, I've researched, this can happen. I read all the articles on how people can have kids in an apartment, how they can have it with very little income, how they can have it with debt. And I would even send these to him because I was like, it's your anxiety. It's just, you know, this emotion you need to work through. It's not me that's having the problem here. It's him. He's the one who needs to work on something here, obviously. And I don't think I could have put it into words like that, but now it's kind of laughable, and so I can say it out loud and just go like, oh my gosh. I totally like hid behind that, but I thought that. Again, I'm so thankful that we have waited. When we went to counseling, it was suggested after, you know, quite a few counseling appointments of trying to work this through, that I get at least a date when he thinks he will be ready. So that way I have something more tangible to hold on to, and it doesn't feel like forever, and it doesn't feel like he just doesn't want kids and that he's gonna keep pushing it off and changing things. So it has been really helpful to have a date in mind that is gonna be more serious. With that, there's been a lot of conversations, and it wasn't clear. And so I've had to ask, and I feel like I'm nagging, and he's been so patient, and he is really good about remembering things when I forget them. So thank you, Chris, again. We're just gonna thank him this whole video. He's been amazing, even though I've been so angry at him at times. It's like a weird thing that can happen. Another thing I'm really thankful for that we waited, and also while watching this video, you can totally be annoyed when I'm thankful for things if you also just want the thing right now, because I feel like I would watch these videos and hear someone say, I'm so thankful that there was all this waiting time now that blah 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 happened. Yeah, that I never liked hearing that. But anyway, I am really thankful that we are at a better place financially. We had just so many things happen that, like, we had a big garage sale where we sold a bunch off. We got out of all the debt that built up during COVID. Our jobs got more lined up and more secure. And we just paid off stuff knowing that this season was coming, and it was definitely a preparation, which is really hard because for me, I just want the thing and I want it to start. And to have all this waiting time, it definitely feels like a waste, and I don't really care. Well, I didn't really care where we were. I just wanted this other human to be doing life with me. I felt like I was missing a piece of my family, basically. I just wanted to have a baby on my hip. I wanted something to take care of, and very naively talking about this, and just almost and selfishly. Like, I don't actually have the image of how hard parenting is going to be, and I'm not really wishing all the hardest parts of parenthood on myself. I am wishing for all the beautiful parts, and I do imagine the hills and valleys of it, but it is just, it's so hard when you want something. You just have your eye on it. I think anyone can relate and can picture what I'm saying, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And you can do this. You got this. You are not alone. Be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself. This season is harder on you than you even realize, and you need support. You need to journal the F out of it and find things that do make you happy. You don't have to be so sad and so stuck in a pity party. You can still celebrate and enjoy what this season brings, even though you're feeling so crappy. Sometimes you just feel on both ends of the spectrum of feelings, and there's beauty in all of this. So just shout out to the friends that have reminded me of that in such a gracious way, because that can be really hard to say to someone, and only by the person that I know sits with me in that sadness can they say, I'm also celebrating with you right now in your beauty and in the other prayers that you've had that have come to fruition. I hope that stuck with somebody, and thanks for watching.